I'm Keith Bowers with the Florida Small Business Development Center Network, and today we're going to talk about marketing your business. So, marketing is essential to every business owner. Whether you're an existing business or a startup, marketing needs to be part of your strategy to make sure that your business is successful. Marketing is the management process through which goods and services move from concept to consumer. Now think about that, concept to consumer. So from the time that you have an idea about a product or service that you want to offer, you should then start thinking about the strategic plan of marketing. So we'll talk about that in depth. As you can see here, marketing involves everything you and your business does. So it starts with you and your product and service, and it extends to your staff that are in place and the channels that you use to make sure that your products and services get to your intended customer. Here's an overview of the marketing process. The first step you want to do is analyze your opportunities. Once you determine that you've got a superior product or service that you want to offer, you need to start to figure out what is the best way to get this product to market. So one of the key steps involved is to research your target markets. One common thing that I see here and what we see with a lot of our clients, they think that their product or service can be sold to everybody. Well, I'm here to tell you, not everybody wants to buy your product or service. So what you want to do is try to, again, research who your target markets are. And then the next step would be to design strategies. And strategies involve how you plan to attack the target market, to try to gain some penetration, to put your product or service in front of the people who are most likely to buy it again and again. So the next step in the process is to develop tactics. Now, tactics are different from strategies. Tactics are the actual hands-on, the implementation part of the strategies. So if you decide that you want to use a social media campaign, if it's going to be direct mail marketing, if you're going to rely on salespeople out there in the industry to promote your product or service, those would be tactics. So you really need to understand the difference between strategies and tactics. So after you develop your tactics, you want to plan your programs. Now, marketing is a mix, so there's not one size fits all. There are different things that you can do depending on your product or service and also depending on who you're planning to reach out to as your potential customer or client. So you need to plan programs designed around what you know about those people that you're trying to sell your product or services to. And we'll talk about that in depth a little bit later. And then finally, you need to organize all of this process. It needs to be organized, and you need to really think through how you're planning to implement. So you organize, once you have all this data, once you have all this information, you organize your strategy, and then you implement your tactics. And as you can see, it is a continual cycle. So even after you organize and implement, you get feedback, you determine what works, what doesn't work, and you start the process all over again. We'll talk about the 7 P's of marketing. So I guess when I was in college and studying business, there were only 4 P's of marketing. But as the industry and different markets have grown, and there's just so much additional information out there, a lot of schools of higher learning and businesses have implemented the 7 P's of marketing. So we'll talk about the 4 traditional ones first. So product, price, place, and promotion. So with product refers to what you are selling, the variety of the different items that you have to sell or the variety of the different services that you have to sell. What are the features? What makes it different from the competition? And the design of that product or service is very important. And really, you have to make sure that you have a quality product or service, because you can have a great marketing strategy and a great marketing plan, but without a quality product, then you're destined to be behind your competition. And then what advantages does your product or service provide to the end user? And what do they view as the benefits of that product or service? So again, it starts with the product and you understanding the product that you're attempting to sell to your customers. Then price. Price refers to the pricing strategy for your product or service. and how it affects your customers. So one thing that you should consider is how much are your customers prepared to pay? You have to take that into consideration too with the competition. Are you priced in the same range where you're with your competition and your competitors? Or are you overpriced? Are you underpriced? How much markup do you need to cover all your costs and generate a profit, which is very important. So you need to understand, what it costs you to produce this product or service, and then how much you need to mark it up to make sure that you're, at the end of the day, you walk away with a profit. And finally, you need to consider offering discounts and seasonal pricing for your merchandise or services. This is important because you don't want to get stuck with a lot of inventory on your shelves, and you also need to understand that your customers are going to, from time to time, want to see discounts and sales prices for you. So place, this is an essential part of any small business. Location, location, location. So the place involves where your products are seen, sold, made, distributed, and it is an access point for your customers to obtain your products or services. So this includes physical locations as well as if you have a website or if you're doing an e-commerce business, your location on the web and how accessible you are to your clients and customers. It also includes the distribution channel. So if you're in the manufacturing business or you produce a product or a service, how are your customers going to get it out of your warehouse and into their home? So you also have to consider your distribution channels if you're not doing direct retail. Your customers should be able to find you whether you have a physical location or you're running an e-commerce model. They should be able to find you on the web, and they should also be able to find where you are and also understand your hours of operation. Promotion. Now, we talked about promotion, and a lot of people confuse marketing with just promotion. But as you can see, there are 7 key elements to it, and promotion is just one. So promotion is the activities used to make your customers aware of your products or services. It involves advertising. It involves public relations. It involves personal selling, and it also involves sales promotion. So we'll talk about advertising. Right now, it's a very fast-growing, established phenomenon with social media and web presence. So there are a lot of different things and a lot of different strategies that you can employ as a small business owner that are very cost-effective. But the essential part of advertising, you have to make sure you have a message that resonates with the people that you're trying to reach. So you need to really understand as much as you can about that customer. You need to understand what resonates with them, and you also need to understand how they're used to getting their information. It could be a newspaper, it could be billboards, it could be blogs, it could be social media outlets again. So advertising is very, very key, and it's an essential part of promoting your product or service. Public relations. Public relations are vital to any business's success. Being able to garner earned media is essential. So anytime you get an opportunity to, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to talk about your product or service, to position yourself as the subject matter expert, to participate in giving speeches or presentations to different groups, I would take advantage of that every single time. Personal selling. This is essential as well. Personal selling is the one-on-one engagement with your potential customers. It involves you being able to articulate the benefits of your product or service and making sure that the person that you're speaking with understands how that product or service is going to help them or solve a problem. And then the sales promotion portion of it. Sales promotion involves all of these things rolled up into one. It involves the advertising, the public relations, the personal selling, and it also helps increase the visibility. So from time to time, you'll see like a 4th of July, usually a mattress store will have a 4th of July or Independence Day sale. They're basically using that time to draw attention to their product or service. And one of the things that we impart to all of our customers, if you're in business, you have a great opportunity to align some of your sales promotions with what's going on in and around your community. So for instance, If there is a football season, and if this football is popular in the area that you operate your business, it would be most helpful if you can align some things that kind of coincide with the football season and that entire lifestyle. So sales promotion, again, is key, and it is one of the things that we definitely recommend that you take full advantage of. We covered the first traditional 4 P's of marketing, and as I mentioned, there are 7 P's, and these 3 were added probably over the last 5 years. But I think people is probably one of the most vital P's in the 7 P's of marketing. People refers to your staff, your sales force, and the people that work in your business, including yourself. And that is very important that you focus on that, because you are the face of your business. The people that answer the phone, the people that engage with your customers, they are the representatives of your business, and they need to be part of your marketing plan. Customer service is key. People have choices today. People want a superior product, and they also want superior customer service. So it's important that you recruit the right people, highly motivated, well-trained people that have a positive attitude that can create positive experiences for your customers. So process. This refers to the processes involved in delivering your product or service to the customer. How user-friendly is it to access your product or service? How consistent your product or service is? And all of these things you should be thinking about as a business owner. Consistency, performance, quality, all of these things can be attributed to the process that you implement to make sure that you're providing a superior product or service. And it's also very important from you as a business owner, because the more efficient that you can become, the more profitable that you'll be in the long run. So process is very important, and it is a very essential part of a marketing plan. And finally, physical evidence. Now, this includes everything your customer sees when interacting with your business. It's the ambience, it's the layout of your store, it's the branding for your product or service. And physical evidence has become more important over, I would say, the last 5 years, because, again, people have choices. And a prime example of folks who really focus on the physical evidence would be people in the hospitality industries. So like, air travel. They offer both economy class flights, and they also offer first class and business class flights. So it is all about that experience and the ambience and the layout and the premium quality. Another example would be hotels and restaurants. You're all aware that there are 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star hotels and restaurants. And that sets the tone for your customers. Once they understand that that is the branding that is associated with your product or service, then they will probably become accustomed to paying more. Because again, you have set the tone and you have created the physical evidence that can support your pricing and ties into everything that you're offering to the customer. So now that you understand the 7 P's of marketing, let's start talking about defining your customer. Who are your customers? So you can start with a general description, and then you can even go a little bit further down to where they are in the world. So you look at the geography. You can also determine, what you know about that customer in terms of the demographics. And then probably the most important and what gains the most traction would be the psychographics, and we'll talk about that in detail. So what do you know about your customer? The general description: is your customer an individual, or is your customer a business or an organization? And this is important because the way we market towards individuals varies vastly from how we market to businesses or organizations. The jargon is different. The message that we need to send is different. The benefits that they may derive from your product or service are different. So we really need to start there and determine if your main customer is an individual or if it is an entity or organization. The second description would be, where are your customers located? Now, this is important, especially if you have a brick and mortar a store or storefront, is very important where they are. And realistically, how far of a radius do you think people will come to purchase your product or service? So you really need to understand where they are. If they are located somewhere else in the world and it involves import or exporting, it's very important that you understand all of the logistics that go behind that in delivering your product or service if it is outside of the United States. Also, it's important too because even though we're all in the United States, there are different subtleties from region to region. So what may be popular or what may be a right message to send in Florida may be vastly different from a message that we need to send to our potential customers in New York or California. So all of these things you have to kind of factor in when you're deciding who your customers are. Another important aspect is the demographics for your customers. What do you know or what do you think you know about your customers? And that is broken down into different categories. When you really start to consider demographics, you have to determine the gender, age, occupation, income, ethnicity, and family status. Why is that important? Well, let's just take an example. If we were talking about starting a sports bar, we would want to make sure that we understand the demographics of who our potential patrons would be. So I would hazard a guess that the majority of our customers would be men. I would say also that the age group they have to be of drinking age, so anywhere from 25 or 21 to 35 or 40. Occupation would vary. They could be blue-collar workers, they could be white-collar workers. Income would vary according to their occupation. Ethnicity may also vary. Family status would vary, but I would say certain things happen when you get married. You don't get a chance to go out to many sports bars anymore because you've got a family. So that all helps us create a profile for our customer. And in creating that profile, we're now informed and we really understand, based off of this information, we really understand how to position our product or service in a way that they can see the benefit and they would want to patronize our establishment. Now, psychographics. This is very interesting, and a lot of companies, major companies, have invested a lot of money and research into the psychographics of their customers. And psychographics is simply what our customers value, what their attitudes are, what types of lifestyles do they lead, what are their beliefs, and what are their interests. This is very important because this is where you really make most of your decisions based on your values, attitudes, lifestyles, beliefs, and interests. So a lot of money has been invested into understanding this. And you as a small business owner or potential small business owner should really do a really good job of trying to understand the psychographics of your customer. So let me give you an example. One company that does an outstanding job of keying in to the psychographics of their customers is Nike. So you see that they understand that their customers probably value a fit lifestyle. Their attitudes are that they want to be in shape, they want to be number one. They're very active, and obviously they believe in fitness or activities or sports. They do a really good job of keying in on the psychographics of their customers. Another example, I'm pretty sure you've seen the explosion of the online dating phenomenon. So when it started, it was just, Match.com. But now, based on the psychographics, you have other dating services like FarmersMeet.com or Christian Mingle, because they understand that they are able to drill down and really pinpoint the values, attitudes, and lifestyles, and they're positioning themselves to take advantage of those folks that have similar values, attitudes, and lifestyles. So I think Peter Drucker says it best. The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well that your product or service fits their needs and sells itself. Again, marketing is a process. It's a continual process that you as a small business owner or entrepreneur need to focus on. And again, don't be afraid to go out there and try different promotional tactics, but make sure that you're analyzing what you're doing, the effectiveness of it, and how well it's speaking to your customers or clients.